and there are various reasons why we may not remember our real side dreams. Various factors involved, from the subconscious sensor to electromagnetic technology distortion interference, to what we decide, to what the personal self is trusted with in regards to certain experiences, to the extent we can recognize those more ears impression orientated experiences, etc. The moment we wake, we tend to activate the personal self-mind, which has an instant obscuring effect on the real side experiences. So it's a practice also to not engage the personal self-mind and emotion facilities unless required, especially on waking. Interestingly, on one occasion, as I was writing down an experience on the real side, my sister would suddenly enter the scene, and she began to be disruptive. My sister continues to have little interest in becoming more aware on the physical, but occasionally she will feature in my real side experiences and has varying degrees of willingness to participate in an adventure or be shown certain things. On this occasion, she was very adamantly expressing her disinterest and was interrupting my recording and writing down of a real side experience. Pointless an exercise on my part as that may have been. Perhaps she was then doing me a favour, a demonstration of how such activity was unnecessary. Anything that isn't just a state of being like the sun, any thought, idea, worry, concern, anything that is in addition to this just beingisness, real awareness, real you state, must be the personal self. Perhaps my concern over the recollection of a few dreams being a very personal self-concern had me encased within the personal self on the real side here. I was removed from any more expansive real side experiences through my decision to entertain the concerns of the personal self, and with decided real-side, personal self-encased experiences, in come the individuals that are the unconscious unaware, as we are very much operating in their arena by deciding to encourage, overindulge, and cater to the personal self in whatever way we have. For if we are having recognitional stretching and awareness bolstering experiences with the guides, it's unlikely the unaware will feature in them, unless for a demonstrational purpose. The guides may utilize or adopt their forms as a part of the demonstration. For example, after a few moments of my sister's disruption, I would discard my piece of paper that had my previous experience scrawled upon it. There were suddenly 4 animal cages in the living room, for we were in my house at this moment and on the 1st floor, again indicating how my personal self-concerns over dreamers had me very much in the personal self on the real side, as the house, and especially the 1st floor of it, does demonstrate this. Within these cages were 4 large snakes, and Lindsay, my sister, was poking and prodding them, agitating the snakes and making them quite irate. I would watch patiently on. Tormenting these snakes wasn't enough for her, evidently, as she elected to release one. The one she chose to liberate was the largest of the 4, and it would strike at her and constrict her within its thick coils. She proceeded to struggle, writhe, and shriek in terror. Rather than assist her, I stated how that if she stopped struggling and let go, she would be fine, and the snake would release her. She would do as I suggest, ceasing her thrashing, and the large python did indeed relax its crushing squeeze, uncoil from her, and just sat beside her passively. So, although I didn't recollect the experience that I took pains to record on the real side, I did remember this experience instead. My immersion in a personal self-concern had set the scene, for Lindsay to feature in keeping with a self-decided, limited position that was an open door to anyone of an unaware persuasion, and here she would be expressing her dismissal for what I was doing, her disinterest in getting beyond her personal self by the disruption in my business, which was the business of becoming more aware, the business of the isness, as Dwayne once put it, as despite the activity being personal self-motivated, the overall intent was still there as it pertained to the recollection of real side experiences. I would suggest the 4 snakes were representatives of her 4 personal self-bodies, the real side personal aspects of the astral, causal, mental, and etheric, with her representing the physical as she stood there. These are the 4 parts of the personal self beyond the physical. Most are unaware of as to their function, mechanics, and especially the unconscious, subconscious of the etheric body. The reptilian controllers have programmed the personal self through lifetimes to obey the authority that they represent. This has been thoroughly ingrained through torture, intimidation, and death. A continued acquiescence to the cabal systems of control and agreement to the demise of the planet in accordance with the reptilian agenda of destruction, and a steady demise of the galaxy and the simulator due to the continued restriction of consciousness that expresses as this creation spiraling down to implosion. All unaware, then, have been programmed and indoctrinated through their personal vehicles to agree with the idea creations of restriction that the reptilian cabal have decided on. The most significant contribution to the cause and effect demise of this simulator is through the unconscious agreement, the subconscious programming that has been inserted, reinforced, and maintained through the ethereal body for lifetimes, and so all bodies of the personal self-unaware individual are programmed and in agreement subliminally, unconsciously, and consciously. For everything on this planet, its various systems, religions, scientific, social, etc., are reptilian designed and represent restricting distortion, as none support and make sense with the whole of life and the all-natural environment that supports us through all the life levels and into the real universes. Creation is restriction regardless, as whatever we decide and agree with here does have us resigned to these more limited positions within a simulator through cause and effect, but more so a continuously dire effect experience if that which we agree with is based on extreme distortion, as the ideas spewed forth by the reptilians happen to be.